My name is Paulin Karana.
My name's Allison Coliani.
My name is Luke Hickox.
Hi, I'm Kyle McSorley. I'm a University of Tampa student and I lived in Austin Hall last year.
I am a student at the University of Tampa. I roomed with Kyle and Paul last year in Austin Hall.
I go to University of Tampa and I lived in Austin Hall last year.
Last year I attended the University of Tampa. I lived in Austin Hall with Kyle and Luke.
It was late October. It was a Friday, I think. It was a really beautiful day too, a classic Tampa day. I only had one class that was done at 10 and then I was done for the weekend.
It was a sunny Friday and I had an honors symposium to go to.
I remember it happening pretty vividly. It was around 1 o'clock. I was just sitting in my bed on my phone.
And honestly, I was just in that bathroom destroying that place.
I heard a big bang in the hallway that was pretty out of the ordinary.
That was when we noticed that the water rushing into our room under our door at just a terrifying speed.
As I was in the bathroom, our suite mates just come in there and just start knocking on the door trying to get me out of there.
So we took everything from our closets that was on the ground and under our beds and threw it onto our beds so that it wouldn't be damaged by the water, and we unplugged everything, which we learned we shouldn't have actually done that because people can get electrocuted when there's a flood going on.
It took us about 10 minutes to get everything up on the beds.
So when I opened the door, the ceiling was literally on the ground.
It was honestly just like a classic apocalypse movie. It was like ceiling crashing in, lights flickering, water everywhere. It was terrifying.
Once we rushed down the stairs and got out of the building, we realized that we were probably the last ones out, and everybody was just on the green space outside of Austin, just not really knowing what was going on.
With all the chaos that was going on, I completely forgot to put on shoes and ended up barefoot in Vaughn Center.
Just like Paul, I forgot my shoes, wound up barefoot, didn't have my backpack, nothing.
I was sitting in the symposium and Kyle called me, said that Austin Hall was flooding, and I thought he was pranking me. I thought he was lying.
It was hours later that we learned what actually happened, but not before the administration made up their minds on their side of the story. So what actually ended up happening was there were two guys throwing a football around in the hallway. Pretty stupid if you ask me. One of them threw it. Football hits the sprinkler, causes gallons of water to start flooding downwards. We were sitting in the lobby when the building manager and an administrator walked up to us, asked our names, and they heard that I was Kyle, so they asked what room I was in, and I told them. And they looked at each other, sort of funny, and they told me to come with them because they had a few questions for me.
When the building manager called Kyle over, I followed close behind, but they shut and locked the door right in front of me.
We went into the building manager's room, his office, and I didn't really know what was going on, and they told me that they had multiple sources saying that Kyle was throwing the football in the hallway and that it was my fault.
Who, me? Yes, you.
All I could think to say was that it wasn't me, and I didn't know what to tell them, and it didn't really occur to me until almost the interview was over that my suite mate's name was Kyle, and that it was probably him and not me, because I knew it wasn't me.
When we were finally allowed back on the 8th floor, there were giant industrial fans all over the place.
It was just so annoying. We had so many fans in our room.
I had two ginormous fans in my room that I had to keep on while I was sleeping.
Yeah, so it ended up being a pretty chaotic experience, but it ended up being a pretty good story to tell people, even though I would not recommend going through the flood.